Today on All Things 80s, I have a confession to make. Welcome back to All Things 80s. Now, as I just said, I do have a confession to make. And that confession is that I used to be a serious Star Trek geek. I was doing some tidying today and I came across this envelope that I'd completely erased from my mind, but I found a lot of my old Star Trek autographs. Now, as you may know, that I grew up in Scotland, and in the capital city, Edinburgh, we had a Forbidden Planet comic book store. And quite often they would have special guests over to do autograph signings. And I, of course, would go attend these. Now, even though I was a self-confessed Star Trek geek, my level of geekiness was quite low compared to some of the other people that would attend these things. You know, you had the people with the Spock ears, the Starfleet uniforms, complete with tricorder and phaser, etc. And the worst part about the location of this Forbidden Planet was it was on this main street, and you had to line up, obviously, outside the store, wait for your turn to meet the star. And all the passers-by would be looking at you kind of weird and, you know, making all these nerd jokes and things. And I always felt a bit ashamed of that. But anyway, can't really change the past, and I haven't actually paid a great deal of attention to Star Trek lately. I did enjoy the Picard series, I will say, but I forgot I had these autographs. So I'm going to sort of show you these autographs and maybe share a bit of a background story to each one. So hope you enjoy it. So let's take a look at my nerdy Star Trek collection. So I guess we'll do this in like sequence of TV show. So from the original Star Trek show, and the very first Star Trek actor I ever met was Walter Koenig, of course, Mr. Chekhov. Now, I have to say, he was a bit of a dick, if I'm being absolutely honest. He didn't allow any photographs. You couldn't even take a picture of him from a distance. There was just no photography allowed whatsoever. And I got this 10 by 8 signed by him, and I think I also got a copy of my VHS Star Trek Generations movie signed, which I think I have somewhere, I'm not entirely sure. So this was my first ever experience meeting a famous actor, and I wasn't particularly impressed by his demeanour, if I'm being honest. So next up, again from the original Star Trek, we have Nichelle Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura, and she was an absolute sweetheart. She was extremely warm and welcoming, and her card says, Dean, eternal blessings and love, Nichelle Nichols, which was rather nice. I could have sworn I had a picture with her, but I can't seem to find it. But she was wonderful, really was. Now, on to the Next Generation. Sadly, I didn't meet any crew members, but I did meet John Delancey as Q. And as with Chekhov, he was a bit of a dick as well, if I'm being absolutely honest. He gave the impression that he did not want to be there. And if I'm being honest about it, I wouldn't want to be in his position, having a lot of these like serious geeks meeting one after the other. And I should also point out that it's a bit of a cliche, but a lot of science fiction fans or geeks in general don't pay a great deal of attention to personal hygiene. And that's kind of putting it politely. So I can understand why some of these celebrities may come across as being a bit of an arse. I know that I would if I had to constantly meet a stream of unwashed people, put it that way. So this was John Delancey from Next Generation, and as I said, sadly, the only actor from the Next Generation that I got to meet. Now on to Deep Space Nine. Again, no crew members, but this is Andrew Robinson, I believe, who played Garrick, the tailor on the space station. He was rather nice. And I think I may have the flyer from that one. Yes, I do. So they would put out these flyers in advance of these signing sessions. So this was on Wednesday, July 21st. So like a 2-hour window there. He was actually quite nice. No complaints with him at all. And again, now if I remember rightly, in order to get a personalization, you had to purchase the pictures that they were selling. And I think at the time they were like £10 each, which wasn't exactly cheap. Next up, actually, I have some pictures that some of them allowed photographs, and I believe Andrew Robinson was one of them. Ah, yes. So that was me a very long time ago. And at the time of these signings, Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager were still being produced, I believe. So these were like up to the minute current actors. So that was him. That was me looking quite pale there. And what did I say it was? So that was in July 21st, and I look as white as a ghost. So we can put that down to the Scottish summer. Next up should be... Alright, so that was it from Deep Space Nine. Oh, also as well, but should have shown that one sooner, there was me with John Delancey. He doesn't look too pissed off there. Can't blame him. He was sitting next to someone who had taken a shower that morning and was probably wearing deodorant and cologne, so he had no reason to be unhappy with me, that's for sure. So anyway, on to the next one. We have, let's see, yeah. This is Robert Beltran as Commander or First Officer Chakotay. He was actually really nice. No complaints there. What's that? Tudine, God bless. Nice little touch there. And got a picture with him looking quite small compared to him. And this one was done, this was March. So I'm probably wearing my warm fleece jacket there, and that's the flyer for that one. That was 11 AM to 2 PM on March 25th. Yeah, he was cool. No complaints there. And again from Voyager, this was Vulcan Tuvok, played by Tim Russ. He was very nice, really nice guy. And this one, very simple, Tudine. And I must have come from work that day, because in the picture, there's me with my suit and tie. He looks happy. Can't blame him, because as I said before, a lot of the people that showed up to these events do not take showers. And here was me looking all very very dapper in my shirt and tie. Terrible tie, certainly, and a weird haircut. But yeah, Tim Russ, Tuvok. Now, the last one I have is actually, this was a double bill. They had Robert Duncan McNeil and Ethan Phillips doing a 2-for-1 type thing. So we had, first of all, we got, let's show the picture first. So I got a picture with them both. And again, I must have come straight from work. I look quite good there, actually. Wow. Time has not been kind to me. That was the two of them there. Forbidden Planet in the background there. So the first one I'm going to show you is Robert Duncan McNeil as Ensign Tom Paris. He was very nice, very friendly, very chatty. And the other one I got, of course, Ethan Phillips. And when choosing the picture you wanted signed, I purposely chose this one because I always found Jerry Ryan to be quite a hot piece of ass. And it was always in the back of my mind that I would meet her one day and get her to sign this picture also. But of course, alas, that never happened. She still looks good, actually. I saw her in the Picard series, obviously looking a bit older, but still pretty damn hot. So yeah, that was my experiences with meeting actors from Star Trek. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you don't think that I'm some weirdo for having all these Star Trek autographs. I know it's quite a nerdy thing to have, and especially to actually stand in line for hours for these things, but hey, that's what I did 20 plus years ago. So as always, I thank you for watching, and I ask you kindly, please like, please subscribe, and see you in the next video looking at all things 80s.